So, welcome back to Mostly Movies, and due to inflation, we can't have cans of soda anymore. They're too expensive. This is Joe Biden's America. Oh yeah, we have one can.
We have a Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
And we're gonna have to
This is Joe Biden's America. We're gonna have to just feed it to me like a baby bird. No, it's good. All right. Anyways, shit, I didn't have things play. Anyways, first off, we're going to talk about what movies we've seen recently. I saw last night Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa.
I also saw that last night.
Yeah, it inspired
I told you to watch it.
Yes,
yeah.
I know. I've owned the Masters of Horror release for quite a while. Finally got around to it. Holy shit, it was fantastic.
It's great. For the longest time, the only one we'd seen is Pulse.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
But Cure is also nearly as amazing. I think Pulse is still my favorite.
I don't know. I think Cure was...
I mean, there's no denying that Cure is amazing as well.
I don't know. I think I might prefer... No.
Pulse is like, it reaches... it's more my thing.
Yeah.
But, you know...
But I also like that police procedural type thing. I also think it's great to, like, see it as, like... It would have been great to see it as just going in blind. Just thinking of it as only a police procedural, and then slowly it reaches into the realm.
I actually went in as blind as you probably go nowadays. All I knew was it was a detective thriller that had 7-ish vibes.
Yeah.
That was all I knew. I didn't really know about, like, what the killer's motives were.
Well, I've watched it. I still don't.
I know, that's the cool thing, is that it still has that esoteric
There's
kind of,
really, like, no reason.
You don't really... You gotta watch it several times to form, like, a really... strong opinion about it.
Yeah, I think one of the most wild things, because I also watched it pretty baked, one of the craziest things is when he knows the police officer's name that's never given it to him.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, that's a great turn for someone who hasn't, like, watched it before, where it's like, oh wait, this shit is supernatural, ain't it? Yeah, it's very good. Yeah. You also saw The Void?
Yeah, it was great. It was like, it feels very much, obviously The Thing, but also a lot of the elements, like the plot and stuff, is Assault on Precinct 13.
A little bit of Silent Hill as well. I forget what else I compared it to when I saw it. I think it was mostly that. The, like, psychological aspects of Silent Hill, the creature aspects of the Thing,
and the siege
and also
aspect.
the siege aspect of it.
Also the fact that the hospital was in the process of moving, just like the police station.
Yeah, actually, though, recently, I think that was yesterday, the guy who was in Assault on Precinct 13 died.
Yeah, no, it's
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also in a Rob Zombie movie, too, I think. Yeah.
Good actor.
Yeah, he was good in
Speaking of John Carpenter, though, did you hear his comments about elevated horror?
Yeah.
AV Club interviewed him and was like, what do you think of movies that are elevated horror? Like, A24, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he kind of went on to be like, yeah, I kind of do actually know what you're talking about, and that's stupid. Most horror contains themes. Like, that's kind of the genre.
Yeah.
It's very...
Horror has always been a great genre to explore themes and to, like, it's a good satire genre as well.
It's good analogy. It's good genre for analogy.
Metaphorical.
Yeah.
It's always been that, though.
Really has, just from the beginning.
There's always been horror films that have delved into that.
It comes from novels. Shit, Dracula.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for being gay as hell.
Movie monsters they always mirrored real life shit.
Yeah.
So elevated horror, the idea of elevated horror, not the films themselves.
Yeah.
Is stupid.
The films themselves are great. Like, A24 is fantastic.
I
love a lot of their
Hereditary.
stuff.
But also just the idea of people saying that people now shove politics into horror movies is
it's like,
dumb.
oh wow, now we have messages in our horror movies. Like, shut up.
It's like how people complain about Candyman, the new one.
Yeah.
It's like, did you not see the original?
The original is just a slasher movie. Definitely nothing more to it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know, people's opinion, I think they don't...
It's just what you see on the screen. You can't you can't look too far into it.
Yeah. Those people really get a lot out of the movies they watch.
It's like literally Night of the Living Dead and specifically Dawn of the Dead is about American consumerism. It's like, do you guys not see these when you watch it? They're very basic messages.
It's just popping zombies.
Yeah, it's just popping zombies, man. It's just how zombies suck and they should be killed.
Zombies should be shoot 'em in the head.
Yeah, that's all they are, man. They're dead corpses. Yeah. They're living corpses. It's like, if only I could see the world in that dumb of a lens.
They say ignorance is bliss, but I disagree.
Yeah.
I like to be able to think about things.
I do, but then you have to deal with people who, like, proudly don't think.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, it's nothing more than what you see. Sure. And I mean, these people typically end up being the worst writers in the world because they don't understand implication.
Right. And they mostly just cherry pick direct scenes from their favorite blockbusters.
And so it's like, yeah, it's just like it was in the comics. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, man.
Yeah. And they also are weirdly obsessed with bringing back old characters, even though they don't like remakes.
Yeah. That is also true, especially if they're in public domain.
Oh, yeah. The idea of public domain just makes them
Salivate.
Yeah.
Like Leo thinking about Logan's Run. Except he doesn't realize it's also the dudes would have to die at 30. And trying out new bits. Anyways, speaking of John Carpenter, though, that interview was great because it's like, I haven't seen a Carpenter who was that much of a king since the Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's a cool-ass dude. He wants to make a Dead Space movie, and the way they framed it is like, I think I could make a good Dead Space movie.
Yeah, but
and
then
it's like...
You have all these articles...
Everyone else is like,
John
yeah.
Carpenter wants to make a Dead Space movie.
No, but
he
like...
just kind of like said, oh yeah, it'd be cool.
Well, it's like, no, he's like, I think I could do that movie, a good Dead Space movie. It's like, yeah, John, we know.
Yeah.
We have faith in you, brother. Being, one of the people who inspired the series, yeah, I'm sure you could do a great movie.
Too bad the studios don't think so.
Unfortunate. They're dumb.
Yeah.
Anyways, next up in the John Carpenter Power Hour.
Well, actually, just speaking of studios and producers and all that,
Yeah.
I know you wanted to talk about a specific producer.
Oh, yeah, you recently did some work for the production company of Junebug Films.
Yes, I did.
You did the editing and
I did
acting.
everything.
You did everything. In The Holiday Intruder continuation Deja Vu Part 25, I hear it was, or something?
That's what it's called.
But
I
the
think
Roman
it's-
numerals are for 3, which it's still, by the way, 2. It's a 2.
Yeah, I don't...
So why is it like that? Why did he? It's kind of blurry. Did he call it 25?
Yeah, so originally I had titled everything. I had titled the videos Holiday Intruder Episode 3 or whatever. But he was very insistent on giving it the title Deja Vu 25.
But why did he not use the numerals for 25, which would be XV?
No, he gave me the Roman numerals for 2, for 1, and then a V.
But that's not how that works. It would actually probably be
And in my
XXV.
place, and in my place. He's the director.
But that's not how Roman numerals work. It would be XXV, because that represents 10.
Also, his upload has it right. It's V2, it's V11.
Yeah.
It's 7.
That's, it's the new Final Fantasy 7.
Deja Vu 7.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, that is Final Fantasy 7 Remake.
It's also 7 again.
Yeah.
Movie 7.
Yeah, but I mean, literally it is. Final Fantasy 7's remake is Deja Vu 7.
It is, yeah.
Which I like. I like that remake. It's very fun in the PC version plays Yuffie.
I haven't played that one
It's
yet.
so good. The song you play, that plays when you fight Corneo's thugs, is so fucking fun. It is like a Yakuza track. It is very Yakuza.
Well, that whole section in that area of the game.
Yeah, it's great.
Inspired.
Oh yeah, but
Especially the new, the scene when you do the dance or whatever, the
yeah.
performance.
So anyway, tell me more about how it was like working as June's everyman, I guess. Every position.
All right.
Other than, I mean, technically, I also did work on it. I filmed your segments, and I'm also should be completing the full Whole Sordid Affair re-edit within the next week or so. I hope. Mm-hmm. And then I'm thinking. By the way, I'm calling that he's going to turn out to be the killer, but you disagree?
I know certain spoilers.
Okay, let's give him a.
I don't remember them actually, but I know that's not where it goes.
Of course, psychologically, the June wouldn't make himself the killer,
No.
and it also really doesn't. I mean, it would make sense, and actually, in my spoiler alert for my edit, that's what's it's going to be.
Because at the end of this latest episode, he plays an assailant and also the detective in the same scene without changing clothes.
He can't just get a person around, like, just get a homeless person or something. Give him a ham sandwich to act or something. You know? Go to a meetup group online. Like, the weird thing about June is that he has so many options available, and he chooses not to use any of them. He has that 4K camera. He has.
He's saving it though.
Why is he saving it?
He's saving it for the right production.
Why?
I don't know.
Has anyone asked him these things directly and gotten an answer?
In the emails, I do ask him.
We should show those. Hang on. Let's show some of them right now. We're scrolling through them right now. See, it's the magic of planning on the fly.
Yeah, we have those
effects.
glasses in Heavy Rain.
We have the glasses and They Live as well.
He's flipping through with the desk. Let's go to Mars.
Yeah, let's go to Mars, a.k.a. this place in Boston, because I'm an FBI agent.
Amy Killers and Mars.
Game rule. I gotta get that on PC.
Oh, I love that.
I hear they ironed out a lot of the bugs, though.
Oh, shit. It's funnier with the bugs.
And I think there's a mod to reintroduce them.
Every time I don't record, I get the Jason glitch in the
That's
beginning
fantastic.
when he, like, screams Jason
That's
in
so
the kid's
good.
face.
That's
Jason!
the funniest thing in the world. So anyways, back to June. His emails, I've seen them. They're unintelligible.
Junegate.
Yeah, they're unintelligible. Holy shit.
He's really bad with typing for some reason.
I can't... How does
He comes off as very, like, verbose, you know, when he speaks.
He tries to come out as, like, sophisticated and verbose when he speaks.
But if you read his text, even these scripts that are supposed to, you know, be interpreted by his actors, are completely illegible.
Yeah, I'd love to interview Trenchy about what it was like working with Jim as well, because it's like, yeah, we probably could get him. I'm sure we could acquire Trenchy as a guest.
Here's Trenchy now.
I'm not going to actually do this before I release the footage, but
cut away to it.
Just cut away to just a picture of a trench coat. Here's Trenchy now.
What do you have to say?
What do you have to say? Anything? Oh no, it's just a JPEG of a trench coat. I'm sorry.
It still has like the little squares in the picture.
Yeah. Oh man, though, his footage is so terrible. Like, what the fuck is wrong with his sound? Why doesn't he ever fix that? Especially since he has the opportunity to do. He does most of it in voiceover. Most of his shit's narration at this point. Why doesn't he just get close to his mic and put over the voices? And also, when you have that opportunity,
we know that when he speaks into his mic sucks, because even during live streams, it's
right. No, that's true. Because I remember when I did my preview re-edit of the whole Sordid Affair, he's like, not surprised. And I really did want to comment. Yeah, you know what should be surprising is I was able to fix your sound. And I had to, by the way, I had to double the sound level. I had to double
I did
it.
Too. I doubled the sound. I actually quadrupled it.
Wow.
Because every time
I don't remember it. I just remember it was at the middle, which was the normal bass level volume. And I had to turn the highest I could go.
It became part of my editing process. Every time I would do a new cut.
Yeah.
Every time it would allow me to adjust the volume each time. So I would always double it. So I kept doubling and doubling every every cut I did.
Yeah.
And it's still, okay. So the scene where he's talking to Trench.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting direction he had for me. I addressed this in my commentary too. Is that there's an outdoor scene. It's very windy, and he always insists on having his onboard mic, as far away from him as possible.
Yeah.
He likes these
Sean Ford-esque shots.
Yes. And, you would think that, it's windy, this will probably pick up on the mic. I might want to have the camera closer to me, pick up sound better, whatever. You can't afford it, boom, whatever, it's fine.
Right.
But, obviously the audio is garbage, and you just hear wind just overtaking any sound. In the scene, and he is like, okay, well, I know, this is what he said, I know this sound is shit.
Yeah.
He knows it.
He does.
I want you to isolate my audio and make it louder. It's like, no, dude.
Right, because you're a professional Hollywood editor, according to him.
I have the top of the line phone editing software where I can do this.
Yeah.
No, you fucking moron. I can't do this. I don't know why you're asking me to do this.
Yeah, it was hard enough to do it with, like, basically the prosumer, almost like it's not industry standard, but it's gonna be there at some point, most likely, at least for lower budget independent projects. Adobe Premiere, which has a lot of options available. It was very hard to do that with even that.
Right.
And it's like, just, you have to have a decent enough master source of sound.
Exactly. This shouldn't be my like, I shouldn't have to fix so much.
And the fact is, most of it's voiceover.
Yeah.
So just get close to the mic later, so you can read your fucking script, too. Like, there's so many things in that where he just stammers and stutters.
Right.
And it's like, do you not have your script in front of you?
Also, it's obvious that he can dub. He edits his footage, too, before he sends it to
Which
me.
is not what you do.
No.
That's not how the business operates.
So if you're going to do that, you might as well dub over yourself.
Exactly. But ultimately, get a good desk mic. You can get one for like $15 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And it'll be okay. There's one I use occasionally, and I'm thinking of getting a new XLR mic. Those are typically range within around, for base level, like $50 to $100. And mine was $25. It's a Tascam, which, it's an okay company.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. But mine's a lower base level model that I got used with the arm and the sound box to connect it to my computer. And that produces some pretty decent sound, but right now it's sounding a little tinny. I don't know if it's the audio interface on my computer. I don't know if it's the mic itself. It could be either. I got to experiment. I might have to get a new sound interface. But these aren't like prohibitively expensive items.
No, and honestly, I since he's not using it, I would have probably spent the money that he did on his 4K camera for a better
sound.
mic or
Like,
something.
I also like his excuse of like, well, remember, movies used to not have sound.
Right.
Yeah, but you're in a talkie, stupid. Like, you're currently
Exactly.
doing a movie with sound.
If you're gonna commit to that, then you might as well just go the whole 9 yards and do a silent film with like the whole,
Which would be better.
dialogue cards and stuff.
It really would be better for him to do that if he can't figure out his sound issues.
Yeah.
But it is a little infuriating how much of a fucking cunt he is about that.
Yeah, how
Like,
he blames the audience for having. You need a hearing
you
aid.
need to hear. No, you need to produce good sound so your audience can fucking hear it. Like,
Yeah.
I put my shit at max volume, and I still can not really understand what you're saying. And also because it's fucking nonsense
Also,
anyway.
when I did my little edit with the subtitles,
Oh yeah, that was great.
that scene I literally had to like blast the volume on my phone and like hold it, like I had
Yeah.
to press it to my ear to try to decipher what he was
Yeah,
saying.
maybe send a script too.
Yeah, he did, but
But you also didn't. Did he keep to it?
no,
I mean, you can't tell, can you?
no.
Yeah. Of course.
So I had to like do
Like June.
work. I had to
Here-
work a lot harder as an editor than I've had to do on anything else.
Yeah, and you're working on a phone.
Yeah.
Like, come on, June. This shit isn't that difficult to get a hold of. By the
And the
way,
reason I'm working on a phone is I just don't have a computer strong enough to
Yeah.
handle all this.
editing is actually a very it's like a processor-intensive task, especially when it comes like good video requires a pretty solid GPU and a pretty solid like processor. To play in real time and do real time edits, you have to have like a certain amount of RAM. Like, I have 32 gigs of RAM on my computer, and that's even barely enough to like do these edits in real time, like seeing the color correction and all that change,
Right.
and
Yeah,
see
for
all
me,
the
I
details.
can't. If there's even a little bit of lag, I get super frustrated.
Yeah, and it's like I've worked on a computer where I had to literally export every edit, and you can do that. It's just not as convenient.
Right.
But like, take it from someone who literally has worked in the industry. Like, I've been dabbling in this shit since I was 18. That's over a decade at this point. Sound is among the most important aspects of your movie.
Yeah.
A good sound can save shitty visuals, which you already have.
I mean, that's a big issue with a lot of low budget films is sound.
Yeah.
Not so much the picture. Like, I think sound quality is probably
More important.
Is more important.
More important than picture
honestly,
quality.
yeah.
Because picture quality can be saved by decent composition, which you also don't have. But
Also, the way you frame your story.
Right, I
obviously
think
a lot of
though-
found footage stuff. Picture quality obviously isn't that important,
yeah,
but
But
sound
also-
is always important.
but also like I do like how there was one comment where it's like, well, maybe there's a reason the sound is bad because the narrator isn't so stable. It's like, that doesn't excuse your shitty sound, June. Like, I get that I think he might go for, I don't know, I think he might go for the he's the killer route. But even then, it doesn't really make sense with the character he's established, I don't think. But that still doesn't excuse shitty sound. Like, even Paul Lowe's Gap, where literally that's the entire movie, is that he's a shitty filmmaker who does it all himself and edits, and it doesn't make any actual sense.
It's like a bad version of the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yeah, but Gap was leagues better than Holiday Intruder because
You can hear the dialogue.
You can hear the dialogue for the most part. He had an idea that wasn't just like nonsense, like the least interesting conspiracy in the world. And like I don't understand why, if you have the option to take this story anywhere, why would you take it?
I would just turn it into like a giallo.
Exactly.
Just make it go over the top, just like
right.
have him be the killer and
to the point where it's
wear
like
black gloves.
Yeah, to the point where it's just like, why even like it feels like it's a personal mission to disprove any conspiracy in the John Benet Ramsey case, rather than coming from a real artistic standpoint, and that's a weird thing to me. It's so boring and so obsessively boring. Like, honestly, I think that person would make a better like subject for a movie than the subject of the movie. The person who's obsessed with boring conspiracies that don't matter. Like the least exciting option is that it was a fucking home intruder out of nowhere.
Yeah. At that point, you just make it a home invasion slasher movie.
Exactly. You can take that to fun places.
Yeah.
I don't actually know where that ends, but like we're gonna talk about that more. Just how boring that is to have done it that way. To have it be a home intruder rather than a larger conspiracy, but I think that's an interesting character to examine. And I'm actually...
it's kind of like the Rupert Pupkin of conspiracy.
He really is. It's a Rupert Pupkin level of conspiracy theorist, where it's like...
It's just the most boring...
And that's the fascinating thing, where it's like... I think the most interesting thing about Jin, to me, is his hubris. He sees himself... He's the worst con man in the world, to some degree, because he sees himself as able to, like... He saw you as a musician when you literally had never played piano before.
That's the thing, is I don't think he believes it. I think he pitches things.
Well, he's not good at it though.
No, he's not, because people see through his shit.
Because like he had a guy who's at least semi-professional as a musician, willing to do free music on it.
They actually make music. I don't claim to make music.
He never did.
What I do is I make ambient score. That's all I do. I record little noises and I mix them into a thing.
We have done that before for like UDB, but
that's what I do, is I make ambient soundscapes for movies, my horror movies.
Right.
And I decided to apply that to Junebug's thing, which he liked, but then of course he asked me to include all like the classical music.
Yeah, and it's like
tracks. But yeah, the piano thing.
But also the reasoning behind that is what we think is because it's public domain.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, dude, I use copyrighted music all the time. I never get hit.
Do we need to hear Swan Lake at every production, every Junebug production?
Yeah, by the way, also, speaking of his insistence on using, like... Remember how he was like, well, like... He compared you to, like, Fulci and he's the Romero? Do you remember that comment? That was fucking stupid.
It was.
Because it's like Romero had good sound. Yeah. Romero knew how to compose a shot. Romero had a message.
A very good filmmaker.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call him competent. He's like a great filmmaker.
One of the best. Yeah. He created a new genre of horror.
Yeah. And what is Junebug doing? Genre of shit.
It's just like sitting on a... Like, that's what he's known for now, is like, literally, the running gag about him now is that he's sitting on the toilet with his pants up in that Eric Virthaler movie where it's like...
Yeah, the things that piss me off, too.
June, is that really what you want to be known as, dude?
Well, also the review of Hellraiser. Yeah,
exactly. By the way, hey, did you pay for that stock footage you used? Because I see the watermark on it. You, my guy who is so obsessed with you having your own footage stolen, you stole an FBI warning off of some DVD.
Like, honestly, I think that's counterintuitive.
It's very counterintuitive.
Because his movie got more people saw it because of all the edits.
Exactly. Because of us, your movie got views.
Yeah. And
do you not see how that's a good thing?
The reason the Holiday Intruder videos are your most successful in terms of views and engagement is because of what we started here.
Yeah, it's because of the movement, the drama movement we started.
Is of shitting on the movie and then people, your fans, making the alternate cuts.
I mean, there are some weirdly sincere Junebug fans, and I don't really understand that.
I haven't seen them around lately.
Well, that one guy, fuck, I forget who his name is.
They haven't been posting on the new stuff.
Well, no, he did post on the Hellraiser one. He was trying to go off Junebug's riff.
Holiday Intruder, though.
Oh yeah, they're fans.
This is his bread and butter.
There's
series.
fans of Junebug, and they're not really. They don't really seem to be actual fans of Holiday Intruder, from what I understand, from what I see. And if you are, leave something in the comments on what you think is good about it. It's a challenge. It's like, because I can give. I like to pride myself in being able to give people that I look at as buffoons credit when it's due. Mm-hmm. And with Junebug, there's not a lot to really give him credit for.
No.
Like, yes, he had the idea of the Holiday Intruder that's inspired things I've done in me, but it is, in essence, to make fun of him, to like, what's the word I want to use? It's to show up his, like, the whole plot. I don't know how soon I was going to be, like, open with this, but the whole thing about Robbie working with Holiday Intruder continuation is we were going to shoot footage as stupid as his was, as poorly framed and terrible as his was, but eventually get better and better, and we knew Junebug would not improve his own footage and potentially even get worse. But by the end of it, I would be bringing in people I know with, like, Reds and Alexas and full-on studio shit. And I do have these connections, and I'm probably going to save them for a remake inspired by my perception of the Holiday Intruder, where it is just very meta and about
a reimagining.
As they're called. It's the what's it called? The Evil Dead 2013.
It's kind of like the new Suspiria and the old Suspiria.
Yeah, where they kind of
complete kind of like retooling of the material.
Yeah, and including real life things like how Robbie's character in The Holiday Intruder would have been one of the guys who helped film the footage, The Holiday Intruder, the silent cut.
Which there's still a lot of confusion about how that fits into the...
Yeah, it's an easy one to do, and he's like just
he doesn't know how to explain
idea.
His own material.
Well, he does. He tries to in the commentary, but it makes it more confusing.
Right.
It's like, wait, but then how does that track? Like, how does that make any sense? And it's like... It feels like
but it's so easy to explain away.
Yeah.
It's like we frame it as something he's showing to like a group of people.
Which he had that idea at one point. It's a good idea. I'll give him that. But like, I think did we suggest that to him?
I suggested it.
Okay, so we suggested that to him, and I think that's interesting. And he seemed to be receptive to it.
I suggested it, so I started a version that he wanted where it combined every Holiday Intruder thing to like a feature, like
because
a
we
2 hour
remember
thing.
because we remember his holiday or the Friday the 13th review where he thinks that retconning is lazy, retroactive continuity is lazy, and well, let's say he's not a man of his word on that, is he?
No.
There's a lot of things where Jun is really just like he won't hold himself to the standards he sets for others.
Right.
And that's what I find fascinating about him. Like, again, I want to reiterate, I have no malice against Junebug. I don't think he's like a bad person. I think he's a light racist in a harmless way. Like, not in a way that's really intentional or like serious in any way, not a way that really has to be dealt with any type of violence or force. But like, I think he sees like other cultures as lesser than American, whereas Americans like cultures are. It's a culture. It's a amalgamation of a ton of cultures. America, and that's what makes America great and beautiful. But like the whole dismissal of reading subtitles in foreign movies is cringe. Like, remember, Junebug, you used to have to read all movies when they were silent. Remember that? Yeah. You fucking idiot. And it's like, we know he doesn't really read books, right? Anymore? No. He probably hasn't read a book since high school, or at least a new one.
Yeah, I don't think
that's my guess. I don't have any proof of this.
He's never willingly read a book, I assume.
I mean, no, I'm sure he has. Like the
like
Martian
Mein
guy. Huh? No. I don't know if he's read Mein Kampf.
That might have been one of his many lies in that interview.
Oh, yeah. Right, when he views lying as a sin against God, you were recalling?
Yeah, he says, I did not lie at all in this stream. Lying is a sin.
And didn't he come out as having, like, admitting about the girlfriend being a lie?
Oh, that video's full of lies that have now been proven as so.
Yeah, so, like, he's admitted to it, right? On stated record?
I'm fairly certain I heard him say on one of the Trench streams that they were grilling him on the girlfriend thing. It's like, okay, fine, I lied. Whatever, let's move on.
Yeah, well,
to that effect.
I mean, if that's true, that's a sin against God, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, no one cared in the first place. To be fair, if you had a girlfriend,
the only
it
thing
was funny to
that's
watch
funny
you squirm about it.
Is how upset he got.
That was the funny part of it, is that you got so upset that we didn't believe you had this fucking Green Beret girlfriend that fought Boko Haram, that put up with your disgusting house. And, like, that was the funny part, is the Baker residence in Resident Evil 7, always relevant. Like, he broke his bed in the last God intro.
Oh yeah, that's a great bit. That was actually, that was not a sound edit.
Absolutely, no.
That was literally him just
by the way,
down somewhat softly, actually, and just snapping.
Yeah. By the way, the most audible fucking sound in the movie.
Yeah. It was the most clear. It's like,
yeah, that ruled.
And then his reaction to it was pretty funny.
I mean, he rolled with it. I will say that, he rolled with it.
Yeah, he rolled into it.
That's why it broke.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to lay into a bed, dude.
I mean, I'm pretty hard on my bed, but it hasn't broke because it's metal.
It's also very springy.
Yeah. I hate my bed sometimes. I just hate it. It's just because, like, it's too soft, sort of. Like,
it literally looks like a four metal posts and then just like the most loose. It's like slinkies, like metal slinkies in the middle. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And then a very thin mattress topper. I don't even think you have a mattress.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yes.
Literally, but it's so it looks just like a mattress topper. Are you sure you don't have a mattress topper on there?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
But why is it so like?
I don't know.
Again, looking.
I don't know. Maybe I should get a new bed.
I think you should invest in a new bed.
Maybe both me and June should invest in new beds.
Maybe that's why you're in so much pain all the time.
Maybe that's possible.
You and June should go to
therapy.
Leeds or whatever.
Couples therapy.
Yeah.
I know Neil Leeds. Holy shit! I could get a free bed from him. To be honest,
you should hit him up for it.
I should
have
hit
him
Neil
send
up.
one to June.
Yeah, June, give me your
phone.
address, and I will have Neil Leeds himself.
We'll send you a box spring and
legitimately, I do know this man. He's part of the Simply Done universe. It's weird. It's bizarre, the celebrities we have in our universe. It's so wild to have Neil. He is massive cokehead guy.
Oh yeah.
Or at least he has that.
He has coke energy.
He has so much coke energy every time I've seen him.
It's like the ShamWow guy.
Oh yeah, he rules. I love Neil Leeds so much. He's so funny. In a way where it's like, this guy's wild. This guy just keeps talking. Holy shit.
Like Junebug. Junebug has coke energy sometimes.
Well, it's lazy coke energy though. It's like he's a very, at his core, I see Junebug as a very lazy man intellectually, in like terms of effort he puts into his projects.
But he also,
in terms of thinking,
he oddly commands his streams though.
Oh yeah, he does kind of.
He loves to talk.
Well, he tries to, but then no one can hear him because his audio is so bad. And it is like, I love the stream we did with Eric where he talks about how the guy in Van Helsing was like too gay for Dracula, basically. It's like, do you not know any vampire lore? Like, vampires are gay as hell, dog.
Flame him.
They literally are. They're hypersexual beings. That's every iteration.
I mean, they're not gay. They just fuck everything.
It really is. I think the term is preternaturally hypersexual, because that's the thing about movies featuring vampires. They're to some degree about the curse of being immortal. Is that you get bored. You live for so long, you just get fucking bored, and so you start fucking everything. That's why it's such a curse. Is the curse of eternal languish, of boredom.
Yeah. And you can't even really enjoy the acts themselves either.
Right. People are meant to die.
You can't taste food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why vampirism is such an awful curse. That's just the impetus behind the storytelling there. Like, if vampires were just, yeah, you get to live forever, again, that's a curse in and of itself, but if you just got powers from being a vampire, why would we not want that?
Yeah.
There's a drawback. Your soul is gone from God. You can't see the light of heaven anymore. That's literally why, like, Vlad Dracul was like a guy who wanted to fight God. That's why he was killing everyone, so God himself would come and fight him. It's pretty sick, actually. It's pretty fucking metal.
It's pretty metal.
Yeah, dog!
Of course, Junebug doesn't understand.
Well, I mean, it's weird that he wouldn't understand the mystical Christian connections of vampirism. Because he claims to be such a, like, studied Christian. But then also he wants to shoot politicians and put them in an unmarked grave, which, like, I mean, based, but you're not going to do that with Ruger Redhawk or Smith & Wesson 500, whichever shitty Magnum revolver you choose that day.
Oh yeah, talk about that scene in the.
I mean, that scene was weird because he was just dressed up as his own characters. That's supposed to be
very
something
confusing footage.
A lot of Junebug shit falls into the low budget trap of, is this lazy? Is this metaphorical or is it just lazy? And with Junebug,
spoiler alert, it's never metaphorical.
Yeah, with Junebug production films, it's just laziness. He doesn't want to change his coat or bring up an extra shirt to the shoot that day.
Or
which,
have
by the
his
way,
characters face different directions.
Also that too. It's like
frame it in a way that
he also sent you that where it was like, didn't he send you that where it's both characters are, but he also edits. So couldn't he have flipped it himself?
Yeah, there is actually there's another shot in that segment.
Yeah,
there's a shot of him approaching the shed, and then there's a cut to him opening the shed that's closer. So he did shoot two different. It's not like he just set his typical setup is he sets a tripod,
entirely static shot,
and then just performs the entire scene
like a stage play.
Exactly,
like a terrible stage play.
Yeah. So, but this is the only scene he gave me that actually had a different angle.
Why can't he get anyone else anymore to like? Oh, excuse me.
He has. I firmly believe he has no real life friends.
Well, but he did with Holiday Intruder 1. You could see the cameraman in the shot.
He claims that's the boyfriend of his sister who he doesn't like.
But then, like, maybe...
He might have alienated this person.
Yeah, that's very
He might have said something off color.
Yeah. Or it's like, I remember that stream where he's like, well, he's not a man enough. And it's like, June, come on, dude.
Dude, you live with your grandparents.
You're not one to, like... people do need to, when they have a message, understand that their vessel should... They're the vessel of this message, and maybe they should consider that if they're not the right vessel for the message, they shouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a one who's gonna say, Junebug's this fat fuck, because, like, I'm a big guy. I'm not gonna call Junebug a fat fuck, like, in a true, like, malicious way, because that's what I am. I'm a fat fuck.
You say it in a joking way.
Yeah, I say it because, like, it's funny to see that. That's a funny character, a big guy calling another big guy a fat fuck, because, like, we're about literally the same weight class, I think. I think we literally are basically the same size. We've had basically a very similar weight loss journey, too. Mm. So it's funny because of the hypocrisy.
Right.
You know? That's the funny part of that bit. It's not that I'm, like, trying to make him hurt, because it's like he just looks at me, and it's like, wait, you're fat. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's the bit. But when I say he's a lazy filmmaker, that's a thing I can say with pretty, like, without being a hypocrite, because... Right. And I'm not even, like, the most hustling filmmaker there is. I'm actually fairly lazy when it comes to filmmaking.
Yeah, when was the last time you made a film, Quinn?
I just edited together a music video the other day that it turned out pretty well.
Footage, though. Like
I mean, the last one I did is actually, I think, currently screening at some film festival.
Really?
Yeah, Complex. It was back in February.
Wait, a movie like a movie you made.
Oh. Are you not talking about the shots I did for Holiday Intruder?
Well, okay, let's use that as an example.
Let's use that for an example. I tried to...
You can see just those few shots that are in the movie.
Yeah,
there's more emphasis on framing. There's more... We had a light set up.
Yeah.
We did multiple takes.
Yeah, we did a lot of takes.
That's the stuff you should be doing, Junebug.
You should start off master, wide shot. And that's where he starts off, and that's also where he ends it.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you got to go in for close-ups. You got to go in for inserts like macro shots.
You want to be able to have room to, cut away from things. And
actually, one thing I did remember afterwards that we should have done is get like room tone. But to be fair, we're outside for the most part. We don't.
And I have a bunch of that kind of shit on my phone already. Saved. The audio I record. Yeah. I have a lot of good sound, outdoor ambient. So.
And it is like also the thing about Junebug's copyright obsession is funny because it's like he's so obsessed with it being in the public domain so he doesn't get his copyright, but it's like, but then he doesn't really use that to create, like, impetus to create his own stuff.
Right.
He just wants to use classical music that's in the copyright, or in public domain, which, to be fair, the music itself might be. That doesn't necessarily mean the recordings are either.
No.
Copyright law is very complex.
No, the actual, like, the notes, like the music, actual written music. You can perform it yourself and not have any issues, but if you use, like, an orchestra, like a specific orchestras,
That's usually their copyright of that
Yeah.
performance, that recording.
Yeah, that could be the case.
Yeah,
you
it
could
could
be using copyrighted material.
You could still be using copyrighted material.
I got a
without
copyright strike on it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, you like.
I don't know which one it was. It was either Swan. It's either that rendition of Swan Lake or that rendition of whatever that fucking angelic music is.
If I recall correctly, because I remember you telling me about this, it was for Swan Lake.
Yeah, it could be that.
Yeah, so like.
Yeah, so maybe that specific rendition of Swan Lake that he sent me, by the way. He sent me the file.
They're so obsessed with copyright law that they don't ever look it up, really, beyond just public domain.
They
as
think,
a concept.
this music is there's no copyright on it, but they don't look into the details of what is actually, what's the term?
Public domain.
Public domain. Is that like let's use the Gamera thing,
Yeah.
for example. There's only a specific dub, the audio itself of the dub.
Not any of the footage.
Yeah, so the movie itself is still copyrighted.
Yeah.
Only the audio of the specific dub.
Yeah.
Just the audio.
The character is not in public domain. We did look this up to confirm. And also, it's June wanted it in the MonsterVerse in America, which would be very difficult since Gamera is owned by, I believe, Toei's rival company.
It's like Dai or Toei, one of those two.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a rival to Toho, so it wouldn't be in it.
They would not likely
Wouldn't work.
acquiesce to that without massive amounts of money that I doubt Warner Brothers is willing to spend. Anyways, so back to where were we? Shit.
We were
Gamera.
talking about
Public domain.
Gamera, public domain.
So yeah, what I want,
public domain.
yeah, there are very specific, different aspects to making film. There's a lot of different copyright holders in certain levels of filmmaking. But I think the base level of it all is that why would you want to use all this public domain shit?
Yeah, there's so much.
Like, why would you want your legacy to be like a fucking someone else's, some old dead person's material through your vision? Like, wouldn't you want your legacy to be like something that comes from you?
I mean, I can see people taking
Inspiration, of course.
Taking, let's say, like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
You have something you're really passionate about Winnie the Pooh. This is just an example.
Definitely. It's definitely not a specific person.
Like, let's say, even though this is an official film, Christopher Robin, that movie.
Yeah.
That was a very unique take on the material.
Yeah.
And let's say that was someone's passion and that this was not in any way in Disney's realm. This was them taking the original stories and adapting it in this manner.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's cool. That's something that's obviously very personal to somebody.
Exactly.
That's something I can see doing, but simply just...
The next Batman film,
Yeah.
like...
Okay, so what about your Batman movie is going to be, like, unique about it?
Yeah, it's just like, well, we're going to stick more to the comics. Like, we have the comics already.
Yeah, exactly. There's already an entire medium that has...
We have over 60 years of comics.
Exactly. And then there's like, well, I want to make it more like the Burton movies. Well, we have the
Burton movies.
They're already...
It is just... It feels, for the most part, like children trying to be like their projected daddies in filmmaking. And it's just like, I have that just in a real version of my dad was a filmmaker, and I want to do stuff, not necessarily like his, but like I want to do stuff like he did. Like, I guess that is why it's intensely personal, because my dad was a filmmaker, and I want to be like my dad, but he is my dad. He's not like a projection of a father I saw in Tim Burton or something.
You don't see yourself as him in any way. You don't see yourself in...
No, my material is vastly different from my dad's. Our senses of humor were actually very different. Like, my dad, he did not like Windy City Heat at all. But it's like, I'm obsessed with it. We probably couldn't have very much more of a different look and outlook on comedy, even though I love all the stuff he's done. Mm-hmm. I love the Naked Gun series. I love I love Basketball. I think that's one of the funniest movies ever made, and I'm so proud that my dad was a part of it. And by the way, I told you before the podcast, they're actually apparently rebooting Naked Gun with Liam Neeson as the Frank Drebin character, which I've heard they might be making him Frank's son, which that exists within the third movie, but I don't think enough time has passed, weirdly enough, for Liam Neeson to have been that kid.
Also, I like how career-wise it's sort of similar. Leslie Nielsen
really does.
started out as
like,
a serious actor.
Legitimately, when I saw the news, I was like, Yeah, that kind of makes sense, honestly.
Because I would love to see a new form of Liam Neeson. coming from all these revenge action movies to comedy. I would love to see him just
It'd
do
be
comedy.
very funny, but also the fact of him being a cop is very. That's going to be a difficult one now.
Right.
With the culture being anti-law enforcement for the most part, rightfully so, but.
Although Naked Gun does portray the police as incompetent.
Well, yeah, but the fact is, they're not incompetent at this point. They're just a horrific, oppressive army domestically.
Right.
Like, I don't know how they're going to pull
I guess
it
it is an odd time to do a movie about cops.
Unless they do it as a period piece, which that could be an interesting thing.
It could, but if he's going to be Frank Drebin's son...
Well, I think that's someone projecting what it could be, potentially, rather
so
than
that's not official.
No, I think the only official things about it are Seth Rogen's attached, the Lonely Island guy is attached, and Liam Neeson's attached. Also, Sydney Sweeney wants to make a Barbarella movie.
Oh, hell yeah.
I need to see the original, but yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. It's entertaining.
It's definitely 70s.
Yeah, it's, if you get what I mean.
I mean, the zero gravity strip scene.
Hell yeah, dude, that sounds
classic.
Nice.
So with Sydney Sweeney doing that, it's like, hell yeah, man.
I imagine they'd actually do a SpaceX thing where it is really zero G.
Her and Tom Cruise go up in space.
Her and Tom Cruise are on the same flight. It's
yeah,
like,
they're filming.
What are you here for? What's your shoot today? Barbarella. What's your shoot? Mission Impossible 8 or whatever, or 9. I don't care actually anymore. I just want to go to space. I want to meet Xenu.
They just open like a studio in space now.
That would be a fun thing to do as a sketch. Yeah. Actually, we should try
Just
that.
all these actors doing different shit in space.
And it's just like, I don't care, man. I'm just looking to meet Xenu. Okay, so enough of the June thing. We're washing our hands of that, I guess. Not really.
Really?
No, I'm joking. I'm lying. I'm committing a sin against God. No, I'm going to do some stuff with the next footage you shoot for him or whatever as an actor. And
yeah,
he'll probably at some point, because I'm open to editing his stupid shit, because I can actually handle doing the sound shit to some degree. Although I will say,
June, when he's blocked you though.
I think he's blocked me. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really care that much. But if he sees this and he wants, and after all that trashing still needs an editor, June, I'm available. I do literally do this to some degree professionally, so I'm probably your best resource here. Anyway, but to be fair, I'm going to make you do more takes. I'm going to make sure that you do this right. Like, you don't just fuck around like you did with Robbie and just expect the world from a phone editing software. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure your sound's fucking audible. I'm not going to let you get away with the excuse of, then get a new fucking mic. Use your 4K camera. Do anything. You do it mostly in voiceover, so then maybe just eat your mic when you're doing the voiceover. And then also, when you fuck up a line, don't just barrel through it. You don't have to just barrel through a line, especially if you're doing a voiceover. I've done voiceover work before. When you fuck up a line, you take a second. Recompose yourself. Remember the line. Do it again. It's just base level effort that could vastly improve your videos by like a lot. And I'm not even talking about like, because I don't think his concepts are really that interesting for the most part. No. Some of them get to be like, okay, that could be something. If someone competent handled that might be interesting.
Honestly, I think that my additions to the latest Holiday Intruder make it watchable.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, like, he just has
all
very
the positive reviews it's gotten
are just about you. Yeah. It does rule. It does rule to, like, do that.
I think it is the most engaging episode so far. Just because
even then, it was still pretty
there's a sense of forward momentum to it.
Yeah.
There's a sense there's actually a story happening.
It wasn't just fucking a tour of the Baker household.
Right. Yeah, his stuff is weirdly incomprehensible.
Yeah,
so this one actually had, like, it. You can kind of understand what the fuck.
It's like June likes to, like, say he understands filmmaking because he's watched so many older films, but, like, it doesn't seem like he understands storytelling at all.
No.
Like, from his own product. It's like, you can say you understand the stories all you want. Like, my roommate does this a lot where it's like, yeah, well, I read that. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't mean you understood it.
No.
Like, if you can't explain, like, the basics of your story, because he keeps details from you, plot details, like you're some kind of viewer.
Right.
Which is the worst thing to do with the collaboration.
I need to know what is going to happen next, because as editor, this stuff, You need to know what's coming next in order to edit efficiently.
Yeah, don't treat your editor and your collaborator like they're just watching the movie, like they're a viewer.
Or else shit's not going to get set up properly. It's just going to...
Right.
That's not filmmaking.
It really isn't storytelling at all.
That's not how you do it.
And it's like you've said you've seen all these special features on things, and it's like, did you not pick up on any of the like routines these people do? Like, I don't know, maybe it is because I went to, but did he take a film class, as he said? I've forgotten. I know he didn't finish the business class. The community college business class that he didn't finish.
I vaguely remember him saying something about taking
We could be wrong. We could be making mistakes.
He did say he was going to direct a stage play.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened with that.
I would be curious. So there's a lot of things he kind of just brings up as future plans and just never addresses again.
It was in the Not So Great Debate.
Right, because remember
when you're asking him what sets he's been on, he said that he offered his directing services to the local school to direct the play. And he said, but he did say that they did reach out to him and say they were interested in having him direct.
Oh, he offered though. Of course he did.
Yeah, he offered.
He offered. That means absolutely he's qualified.
What happened there was he was caught walking around the school, and they asked him what he was doing there.
Oh, I'm going to direct your stage play.
Oh, I'm looking for the auditorium. I'm looking for the drama class.
Specifically the dressing room?
Oh no, we're not implying anything here, folks.
This is not slander legally because we're not being serious.
No.
Legally, you can't do anything because we don't actually believe this.
No, any implications you might be getting out of this are purely your own.
This is entertainment. Actually, by the way, I love Return of the Dead. I was just watching some of that last night. I love the story opening with "This is a real event."
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, hell yeah, dude.
That's also that's
punk as fuck.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
it's like in that movie.
It's like, but that wasn't the real story. That's fucking fantastic.
That's the real story.
That's fantastic. The real story, and we got him here. So fucking good.
We got him in the basement.
I gotta finish that. Holy shit.
That's a great movie.
I'm so glad I finally
I like how the mortician's literally like a Nazi.
That rules. I haven't gotten to him yet.
The guy that works in the crematorium.
That's so funny.
He has all this he has Nazi memorabilia. He has like a Luger.
Nice.
It's very funny.
Nice.
Yeah,
he puts it in his pants and it goes off and kills him. Like that one guy in Band of Brothers who's real.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, there's one guy who's like, his obsession was finding a Luger. And then he got it. He put it in his pants, and at one point it went off, and it hit his femoral, and he dies.
Oh,
it's just like, it's sad, but goddamn, it's also a perfect example of Chekhov's gun, Chekhov's Luger. Though I do feel bad for that guy. He was actually a good dude in real life, but also the series.
Mm-hmm.
That series was sick, actually. I like how we've gone from like great TV series being like Band of Brothers, Generation Kill, and now we have like Rings of Power, which looks immensely mediocre for being $1 billion an episode or something.
Yeah, it's weird. TV had like a really good
like She-Hulk. Holy shit! There was a line I saw of the finale, and it's like, that's just a line from Sonichu. Like, holy shit!
What was the line?
It was just like, don't remember who the real showrunner is here, and it's like, that's just Christian Weston Chandler talking in Sonichu. Like, holy fuck.
I actually know nothing about She-Hulk.
That's the only... Everything I do know about it looks immensely embarrassing.
I know it's working because no one would shut up about it, but...
I mean, that's the least of its problems, in my opinion, from what I've seen, what little I've seen. And it's like, yeah, should they have made it? Sure, I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. If someone else enjoys it, that's great.
I know it has its fans, so maybe that's who should watch it.
Yeah, the fans should watch it. It's like, yeah, it's a thing that's not meant for me, so I'm not going to watch it. However, when I see something from it that I consider cringe, I'm going to make fun of it. That doesn't mean no one else should watch it, by the way. Like, I do have this thing now about, like, know what you like and you can easily avoid what you won't. Mm-hmm. It's like, She-Hulk's not a show made for me. They're very open about it not being a show made for people like me, so I'm not going to watch it, and that's fine. I don't, like, begrudge it the ability to make money.
No. Yeah, I mean, I've always been like that. If I'm not interested in something, I'm not going to watch it.
Like, the same people... Like, we were just talking about this before the show. It's like, if the people who are clamoring for an easy mode in Dark Souls, is like, should also clamor for a mode in Barbie's Horse Adventure where dragons just destroy you every second.
Yeah, exactly. If they're going to add accessibility features to every game,
they should add non-accessibility features to other games. That's a good compromise. Yeah. I'd play that Barbie's Horse Adventure, to be honest. If you were a fucking, like, Lady Barbie Knight fighting dragons, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Just torrent, but it's like pink. That'd rule.
Yeah.
I would literally play that.
Yeah, see? They should do that.
Barbie with the sword. Hell yeah.
We want to play Barbie game.
I kind of do want to watch the new Barbie movie.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It looks sick, kind of.
I
also like that it's released the same day as Oppenheimer. It's very funny to me.
I'll see both. I'll do a double feature.
Absolutely. But there, you know what? No, wait. I decided I'm not going to see it, the Barbie movie, because they're not including the Aqua song. Fuck that movie now.
The Aqua song.
I'm a Barbie girl. That one. It's not in the movie. Fuck it. It's dead to me.
I mean, that would be... It's too obvious.
I don't care.
Oh, come on.
Put in the song or we riot, Greta. I'll kill you. This is a legally actionable statement. I'll kill you if you don't put... I just make a fan edit. It's the exact same movie, but the credit sequence has the Aqua song. That's it. That's the only change. And then I put a big Junebug Productions at the beginning.
Yeah, the logo.
And his FBI... By the way, did you pay to use the FBI logo?
Yeah. Also, why do you have it like going opposite? Is that to avoid...
Is that to avoid copyright strikes?
It's...
You don't want the feds knocking down your door because you'll ask for a warrant, and then they'll say, yeah, well, here's our warrant, and you'll stammer and just... and then you'll try to pull your Smith & Wesson, and then they'll kill you. And your dog or whatever.
That's the idea of a transformative content, is just reversing the...
Exactly. It's like... That is very funny, like...
And adding his narration.
It is just like... And it was so... He didn't even crop in the shit footage to remove the watermark.
No.
It's like, you could have done that, too.
Yeah.
Like, by the way, if you want to use stock footage, here's a tip. Look up on YouTube royalty-free stock footage and what you want it to look like. That's what I did for the Holiday Intruder re-edit. Some of that shit I probably should change. Like, some of the footage doesn't really feel like it makes sense. It made sense in the moment, but I think I edited it high, so... I do some of my best work high, though. Like, I was high for a lot of the Let the Boss Down music video, and that turned out pretty fun. Yeah. I don't really appreciate my work unless I'm high. Same with most people, though, to be honest.
More people should be under that influence when they make content.
Absolutely. I agree. Unironically, I agree on that.
No, actually, I like writing when I have very little sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm like in a manic state.
Absolutely.
And that's when I produce my best work.
Absolutely, I'll agree.
Yeah. I sometimes when I feel like I need to make something and I'm having like a block,
Yeah.
I'll self-induce mania
Yeah.
to like get it done.
Honestly. You should damage yourself mentally to make art. Absolutely. I'll say that right now.
You literally need to mentally suffer.
You should like to play Russian roulette to like
Force yourself.
if I don't die, I'll make the best art ever. But then you just die. You fill all chambers.
Why of the Eye, that movie I made, the little short.
Oh yeah.
I was literally in a really bad mental state when I made that.
Yeah, that's where the best art really is made, to be honest, and we should induce it on ourselves whenever possible. Do you hear me? This is advice, children. Any kids watching this?
Junebug is too comfortable to make art.
Yeah, that's true.
He's cozy with his grandparents.
He's a cozy boy.
Even in his broken bed, he's cozy.
That's true. Maybe the bed will put him in such a weird mental state that'll make good.
Maybe his back will get a little fucked up.
Yeah.
From sleeping in a broken bed.
I mean, all of my best scripts derive from my debilitating back pain. By the way, update on As I'm Told, that's the working title, I might change it, by cyberpunk political thriller action flick. I think we're at 47 pages now. We're over feature length at this point.
Very nice.
It's going to be... I really do hope I get to make that, because that's some of my most deeply... I think this is some of my best writing. It's not as personal as Making the Day was to me, or a couple other things, but I think it's probably some of my most relatable, to people like me work. Mm-hmm. What do we want to give our final words? Other than, kids, if you want to create great art, induce mania into yourself.
Yeah, you have to...
take drugs.
Yeah, don't...
Overdose on meth.
Don't sleep, don't take your medication.
Exactly.
If you're bipolar, definitely don't do any of that.
Yeah. Sacrifice children. Mm-hmm. That's where the best art comes from.
Hail Payman.
Yeah, Hail Payman. Worship the devil.
Align yourself with some demonic entity.
Yeah, specifically Payman. Mm-hmm. He's the art nerd of the demon world.
Yeah.
Or Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to plug a few things.
All right, let's plug.
Well, obviously the newest episode of Holiday Intruder, Deja Vu, whatever number that is.
Yep.
I did most of the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So watch it. Also, be sure to watch the editor's cut of the film, which I prefer.
The commentary provides a lot of insight as well.
There's two versions on my channel, and then obviously there's the original on his channel, Junebug Films.
His George Romero cut versus your Fulci cut. By the way,
exactly.
Fulci was a fucking master.
I think actually it was Dario Argento, he said. Because he used the Dawn of the Dead comparison.
I thought he used Fulci.
No, because he's the Romero and I'm the Argento.
Okay, well.
He basically called the Intruder the Dawn of the Dead.
By the way, I would say that Argento is probably like potentially a smarter filmmaker than Romero.
Yeah, I think, well,
in terms
they're very
of
different.
Interesting and
I can see what he means in terms of like they're very different stylistically.
Yeah.
So I can see the comparison there, but also like don't compare yourself to George Romero.
Yeah, exactly. The only comparison I want you to make to George Romero is like you're him now, like dead. You know?
So, yeah, watch those. And then also we will, I'm hoping to get it out by Halloween. I keep telling people it's going to be out by Halloween, but at this point I don't know yet. Yeah. I'm directing a script by somebody else. John Steele, he wrote a script. And I really hope to make it. It's a horror, it's like a drama horror film.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about too much because I want you all to see it.
It's interesting. I read some of it at least.
Yeah, it's called Welcome to the Terror Gnome.
Yeah.
So I'll let that title kind of like...
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And we were going to shoot it on the Super 8 thing, right?
No, not that. I'm saving that for something that's modern.
Oh, you're saving a camera for another production? So
yeah, I'm saving a lower resolution camera.
Yeah, that's true. We're saving the lower, shittier cameras for the good productions.
Yeah. Whereas
he's saving the good camera for the nothing, it seems, for nothing. Yeah, There's no reason he shouldn't be using his new shiny camera. That he was going to use on his Friday the 13th video or something that never happened?
I think he did 2 videos.
I don't recall them at all.
He did 2 update videos, like, hyping up his Friday the 13th. He was going to do, like, he was going to be, like, skits or something, too. Oof. Well, he was going to do...
They were going to be somehow worse than Doug Walker's.
Well, yeah, it was a Doug Walker type thing he was describing.
Oof.
Or more, he likes the Angry Video Game Nerd. So they were going to be, like, he was going to go through every Friday the 13th movie and review them, but then...
But he did that already. The thing is, he did that.
He was going to do it better.
But then why didn't, like, Jesus fucking Christ.
And then he stopped reviewing movies, except for when he just makes a video of a toilet.
Yeah, it's just, he's a scat fetishist now. That's all he is.
He does a lot.
June, enough of the toilet shit, okay? Yeah, we get it. You want to jerk off with diarrhea.
Yeah,
Stop.
You farted.
We don't need,
Fantastic.
we don't need...
I wonder if Kevin Bacon likes bacon.
Gee, how interesting.
That joke I might have heard when I was in elementary school. Probably.
It's somehow worse than my joke about if you just fry John Hamm, he becomes Kevin Bacon.
I haven't heard that one.
It's not a great joke.
It's the same joke, but at least it's a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, it's also... Like, it would have been better if John Hamm had been the guy who was the cannibal and not Armie Hammer.
Yeah, it doesn't come off as like a tweet from the beginning of Twitter when some old person got on Twitter.
Which is funny, because that's how I formatted it, was that it was just a tweet originally. Yeah. It's a lot of my material, June, I tweet them.
Please don't use the YouTube. Don't use YouTube as Twitter.
Yeah,
if you want to tweet, use Twitter.
Shitpost doesn't actually mean you're posting shit. Like, that's not what that means, June. It means you're saying... silly, stupid things to make people uncomfortable or upset or bothered or like...
Well, I guess the Kevin Bacon one made me upset because it was just like...
Just lazy. It's just a lazy thing.
Why? It's boring to think these thoughts.
Yeah, it's like if I had that thought, I'd kill myself. Because I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so boring now. Here's my Smith & Wesson 500.
Just imagine
the greatest gun in the world to fight a civil war with.
Computer's like, man, I really want to make a community post.
Yeah, it's like, community posts are so wasted on June, it's insanely funny.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, again, I don't want them taken away from him. I think they're beautiful and amazing works of art.
Yeah, you know what's funny, though, is that he hasn't hyped up the newest Holiday Intruder video.
It's because he's not going to do any more of it until he can find someone else to work with. Because he's burned most of his bridges at this point. Right. According to his inner circle, most of them hate working with him.
Yeah, most of them are...
They're tired of his shit. It's very funny to me. Because this is like, I think, the 3rd time that I've accidentally infiltrated a friends group and the person who brings me in because they hate me has just been ousted. I think it's at least the 2nd time. Potentially the 3rd. But it's like, people keep bringing me into their friends group to like try to like somehow get one over on me. And then they always end up, like, destroying that friends group themselves, like, ousting themselves. Mm-hmm. And it kind of rules, to be honest. It's very funny to be that catalyst of, like, someone's trying to dunk on me, and then I immediately just charm their entire friend group, and they hate the other person that brought me in because that person's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
But enough about, like, the scat fetishist guy. Like,
enough about
holy shit, how much of it is just like that now? All of his stuff seems to be that now. Yeah, also, by the way, more of the copyright shit. I did forget to bring this point up, but remember the Home Alone trailer he made for the new Home Alone, which just literally was playing a copyrighted song over copyrighted footage?
Right. Yeah, I remember.
You gonna write Universal a check for that, June?
Ram a check.
June, here's the thing. Come on my podcast. Come on my podcast. You should. This is an open invitation.
I invited him onto my podcast, but I think he already said no.
Yeah, here's the thing. You should come on my podcast and defend your actions here. You should have another, not necessarily debate, but an interview. I want to know what makes you tick. Why you think you, like, should be doing what you're doing. Like, why do you think... What are you proud of that you've done? Because I'm very curious on what you're proud of. Like, what you think you've accomplished in your life and what you think you have the potential to do in the future. Because I see... your future is fairly bleak. It's not, like, really that bleak. It's comfortable, but it's immobile. At this point, your future seems very immobile.
I mean, honestly, I see it. I think it's pretty bleak. Just living with your grandparents.
Well, and not to be fair, it's comfortable, though. And I think that's why he doesn't make a lot of forward movement.
Be comfortable.
Well, yeah, that's because we are artists who derive our art from the need to create something and to be remembered for something, and who want to make an impact on the world of art and want to have these messages we have, that want our philosophies to be presented in a way that's palatable, that's interesting.
Hey, speak for yourself, buddy. Yeah. I just make shit because I want to make it.
Yeah, it's just all surface level, and you shouldn't read anything into movies at all, ever. There certainly is no, like, deeper meaning behind Dawn of the Dead or Dirty like Harry. Superman or anything. It's like, they're just superhero movies, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's all they are, and that's all they'll ever be, and we shouldn't have movies with messages, actually. That's stupid and cringe. Mm-hmm. I think some people might know exactly what we're talking about because it's in the groups. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being that kind of guy who doesn't see meaning in things. That would be such a boring existence in my opinion.
It's like, what exactly are you getting out of movies at that point?
Exactly. It's just video on a screen, like, wow. If there isn't a deeper meaning, if there isn't a message that's being imparted to us, then why do it, you know? Like, emotional connection to a movie is one of the most important things I think a movie can have. Right. Yeah. Anyways, for my plugs, you're already here, right on target on YouTube, right _on_target on Twitch. I haven't streamed in a while, but I plan to finish Stray at some point. Maybe stream some spooky games for Halloween, probably some Fatal Frame.
Detention. Yeah,
Detention, definitely. We gotta watch that tonight. Also, check out my latest video, which is the end theme of Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which, by the way, fantastic series. Amazing. Elevated the game a lot, too. Check that out. It's the song from the end theme of that, set to footage from the Metal Gear Solid Saga, and I was really actually proud of how that turned out. I probably might do a couple more minor edits onto that. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, just at an emotional resonance level. Yeah. Anyways, this is Mostly Movies, signing off. Peace. Peace, bitches.